Hey YouTube, Mike the Rinnai guy here. How are we all doing today? Hope we all had a safe and productive week. Alright, today we have part 2 of the CHS1, the new CHS199, which has the RUR94 that I showed on 2 weeks ago video. And again, I apologize for last week, but my wife and I were away. So today is part 2. So today, part 2 is going to be on the venting. We're going to go over different venting, what you need to do, and what you need to do if you need to add a vent to the building or the room that you're replacing the old heater with. So, to go over this briefly, this is, like I said, the new CHS199. It has a modified RL94, so it's an RLR94. Again, this unit can only be used on this application with the tank. You cannot put it, if you get one, you cannot put it in a house, and you can't put an RL on this. It's a 119-gallon storage tank, 199,000 BTUs. Remember from the other video, it's got the pump and the controller and the sensors. 360-degree, 36-inch door mount gas flex. It has a power box that you bring power to, you plug the pump into, you can plug an accessory. And here is the, and let's get this piece of paper off here. And here is the vent, the fresh air adapter. So basically it does, with the concentric venting, it has the exhaust to come out the middle. It has the fresh air that gets sucked in through this filter. And then a stainless steel 6-inch top that the vent will get connected to. And that gets pushed right onto the top of the unit, the standard vent that's on a typical RL style unit. Now, remember that the room has to be enough air in that room. So whether you have louvers or you have air coming from the outside, and remember, very important, that you cannot have negative pressure on the other side of that wall. So if you have a restaurant that has a hood that has fresh air makeup, that will give it negative pressure. So it'll actually be pulling the air out of the room instead of going back in. So that's very important to bear in mind when you're scoping out a job, sizing it up, all right? So, minimum of 6-inch vent, okay? 6-inch, this is 6-inch standard single wall vent, all right? No smaller than that. Now, you can have it 8, 10, 12, but you're gonna need to get a reducer to whatever fitting pipe size you have. So say you have 8, so you gotta get an 8x6 so that this, let's see, make an elbow here. So that this will fit right on top of the unit. And let me get the camera here. And zoom that in. All right, so there is your vent elbow on top of the unit. Okay? Remember, 6-inch minimum. Well, actually, yeah, 6-inch or above. Let's not say. Okay, so let's get this back to where I am, and we're going to go over the venting. All right, now you have some venting. So you have B-vent or a chimney. All right, you're going to be venting this into some type of chimney. So it could be B-vent, which you see right here, which is double wall flue pipe. Okay, this is 5 foot long. They come in 5 foot sections. And you can adapt a standard single wall vent to the B-vent. All right, so you see? And if you're going to do that, you need to secure it with at least 3 screws. So we're not going to go crazy with the screws here. So you're going to secure it with at least 3 screws. do 2 for now. All right, so now that's in. And then you're going to use some high temperature foil tape. Now on the B vent, you're going to have to get a little tricky here because you see it's kind of got like a ledge on it. And I got to apologize because I'm going to be sweating because we're in the shop. So you want to get the foil tape on, wrap it all the way around. You could use more than one piece if you have to. And then mold it into, and I'll show you once we get on the standard wall, and then you mold it on, and now that's your joint. And just say you had B vent going to it, you can now take this and secure it right to the top of the unit, 1/4 inch pitch back to the unit, just like that. You secure it right back to the unit, like that. So there's one of your venting. So you have B vent, you're going to go up, and now this, say, goes up through the roof, like so. All right? So there's your B vent. Let's get this out of the way. Now, say you got standard wall, your standard wall flue pipe. Again, 5-foot length, standard elbow. You want to try to secure everything on the ground. All right? You want to do this all on the ground. The more you can do on the ground, the better. Because the more, it's not going to buckle, it's going to be nice and straight. All right, you see how this is nice and straight in there? So again, you want to take a couple of screws. Just be gentle with it. Take your time. Get your screws in there. You want at least 3 screws. 4 is better. Okay, so now your screws are in there. Now with the foil tape, with this, it's a lot easier. You got to bear in mind because, oh, the Rinnai guy, I got lucky today. With the foil tape with this, it's very easy. And you see, if you have it on the ground, it's a lot easier to put this tape on. And yes, it will fall on itself. You'll be able to peel it off. Just get it right around the joint and then mush it in. You know, if it's up in the air, you're gonna feel for it up in the air. Let's get this before I trip on it. All right, so there's your joint. That's your joint right there. Okay? That's not coming out. You have 3 to 4 screws in there, and then onto the, whoops, fell through, onto that, get a screw in there, and you're done. Sometimes you're going to find, depending on where you get your fittings from, as you see with that, they're a little bit different. As you can see with that elbow, it was a little bit different. But once you get it in and you get your screws and the tape in this, it'll be fine. So now, another application is, you might just have a chimney, a lined brick chimney, concrete chimney. You'll put this in, cement it up. Now, this is very easy to cut. You can cut it with a standard pair of tin snips. Or once I get the table over, I'll show you how easy it is to cut with what they call a center cutter, electric center cutter. So you would have this and then put it into the chimney, have at least 6-inch drop leg, and that's why when I'm going to show you what I'm going to make, a lot of times with the B vent, you're going to find a T. T's are not good on a flue pipe. They're good for water, they're good for gas, they're not good for flue pipe. So in all cases that you can, try to get a Y fitting in. Now, we're gonna make a Y. I'm gonna show you how we make a Y. And I've done thousands of these where we cut Ys in. Ys are better. They make the carbon monoxide flow. So if you're coming across at your 1/4 inch pitch, and then it goes into a Y, and at the bottom you have your, I don't have one here, but you have your clean out cap, because if anything falls down the chimney, rust, bird, bugs, whatever, you don't want it to be blocking the flue. You want to be able to get it out. And that's why if you're going to put this into like a brick or a concrete chimney, you want to have what they call at least a 6 to 8 inch drop leg in there, so that if anything does fall down the chimney, it will go past the flue pipe. And when you're putting this into, let's just take this 4 inch. If you're going to put this into the chimney, you want this part that's in the chimney to be flush with the inside liner. Not back, not at the liner, because the liner and the brick are separate. There might be just a little cement holding it in. You're going to get the gas going up that, and it's not going to exit. So you want this in just at the liner. You put your ruler in, you measure from the liner back out to the chimney, mark it, and then put it in. Bob's your uncle, you know where it is. So if you have a drop leg here, if a bird happens to get overcome and falls down the chimney, there's no cap on it, and falls down the chimney, it's going to land in the bottom. This is really important, because if you're not going to get this vented, you might do a beautiful job venting, installing it, water pipe, gas pipe, electric, and then something gets in the chimney, you're going to ruin this unit like that. And trust me, from my experience with gas boilers and water heaters, it does it. Something blocks this chimney, carbon monoxide backs up, got 199,000 BTUs. That's a pretty big engine. That's going to produce a bit of carbon monoxide. You get this backing up, it's going to back down into this heat exchanger. It's not like a boiler where it's cast iron, and it's got a little forgiveness. But even with the cast iron and those big burners that they have, they get ruined within a year. This thing, boom, a few months it's done. Okay? So be mindful if you're putting this into a concrete chimney. If you're putting it into B-vent, like I said last week, make sure it's clean, and make sure you got at least a T at the end, which is not good, but it's better than the elbow, so that you can get debris out, or if you have to service it, you can take it and clean the chimney. All right, so you might also run into, again, I am so sorry, it's hot in my shop, and if I put the fan on, you'll never hear me. Okay. You're going to run into, probably 50 or better percent of the time, you're going to run into a box, a metal box in the mechanical room. And that box is going to go whatever way, straight up. There might be an offset in it, but normally it goes straight up. It's put into a fireproof liner. So it's like they make their own B-vent, they make their own chimney, and then when they exit out the roof, they put a square vent head on the top of it. All right, now, if you're going to take out a water heater and put one of these in, you most likely will have a fitting there. Now, again, that fitting could be 6 inch, it could be 8 inch, 10 inch, whatever. But it could be 4 inch, it could be 5 inch. You can't use that. You cannot take a 5x6 increaser, it's a reducer, crimp it the other way, and put it in there. It ain't gonna work. So you gotta take out that old fitting. So that 4 inch fitting, or that 5 inch fitting. You're gonna have to take that out, and you're gonna have to put in what they call a Y fitting. All right, so let's go with the Y. Go over the trusty DeWalt tape. Let's take our 6 inch flue pipe. Now, around, let's get the camera so we can see it. There we go. All right, a round piece of flue pipe is probably going to be the hardest that you're going to come in contact with. All right, so now, the direction of flow is this way. You want to mark the pipe in the direction of flow, so you know which way to put the Y. So if the direction of flow is this way, you want your Y to be in like so. All right? Now, we're going to make believe this is 6-inch, and this here is 10-inch, or a square box. You're going to take the flue pipe, you're going to cut a piece of 6-inch about 12 to 14 inches long. Doesn't matter, as long as you have one end that's nice and round, it doesn't matter this end. And just to show you how easy it is to use that tool to cut a nice piece of flue pipe, that's how easy it is if you have a pair of center snips. It's an 18-volt cordless. You can get them corded, then you put it together. Now, of course, there's a rough edge, this old pipe that I had, and that is your piece, just like I cut from there. All right, so, now, you have your flue pipe. You want to be opposite, if you can, the seam. So here's your seam. You want to be opposite that. Seam is on the bottom, my arrow, I know which way I'm going. You want to take the round end, take a nice magic marker, and you want to trace a circle. All right, I traced my circle. Now, you gotta bear with me a second. I have to get a pair of pliers. Sorry about that. A little unprepared. All right. Hey, like you're on a job site. You know, you may not have the stuff, you have to go to the truck. All right, now, you want to make this a little oval, like so. Just a little bit oval. Now, you're going to be using tape to seal it, screws to put it down. I have this screwdriver that actually will make a hole in here. All right, made my hole in the flue pipe. I'm going to get my snips in here, and I'm going to cut out this oval. Be very careful with this, because you're either going to sweat on it or you're going to cut yourself. Very sharp. So, you know, you're going to wear some gloves, put some gloves on. All right, now, you want to take the BS end with the crimp. You see, I already cut myself. You want to take the BS end, which is the piece you cut, and the crimp, and you want to put it in this direction. Now, you might have to recut it once or twice, but you see, there's your Y. But now, what are you going to do? How are you going to secure it? Oh my God, Mike, it falls in. Watch this. So, you got your crimp, you put your flue pipe in. You don't always have the option of looking in this way, so you want to kind of look in to see. Then you want to take your marker, and you want to mark all the way around Make sure you got a nice line. So you see I got a line around this piece. So now you want to take your snips and you want to cut, and I'll show you in a second. The hardest part is going to be getting it over the seam. You want to keep about 1 inch or so back from, see how I bent it? I don't want it coming in contact with my hand. You want to keep it about 1 inch or so back from the line. So there is your piece now. You see how I kept it about 1 inch or so back from the line? All right, now you want to take your snips and every about 1 inch, just go up with your snips straight up to the line. Go straight up. Takes a couple of seconds. Don't rush it. All right? Make sure you're all the way up. Check it. If they're a little bit more, don't worry about it. Then you want to bend like every other one. Just bend it. Up, up. And then that's why you needed a pair of pliers, because you want to bend the, actually these. You want to bend that. And this one straight up. All right, so now, then you want to pop these back enough that you can get this in. Now remember, direction of flow. You want to put your piece in there. Push these down. Then let's grab 2 screws, your drill. You could pre-drill your hole if you want to. This is going to be a little bit tricky because of the tab. You can get more screws in later, but 2 would suffice. All right, then you want to reach in, and that's why you want to do it very small. Now, with 6-inch, you're going to be able to get pliers in there. And you want to push this back to the inside, because that's going to hold it from coming out. You feel your hand in there. Now, that's in there. Now you want to add 1 more screw and a little bit of sweat. All right, and then you're going to take your tape. Now this you're going to put in smaller pieces because of the way the wire is configured. Got a bit. The Rinnai guy don't have fingernails, so I got lucky with the other one. There we go. Nope, that's not it. Come on. There we go. And then you want to take the tape and see, you got to kind of make the Y fitting with the tape. And as long as you got fingernails, you should be able to do this. And you'll be sweating on a job too. Oh, look at that. If you buy good quality tape, it'll mold right to and won't break in the seam. So there is your Y fitting. Right there. Very simple to make. Now that you would be doing with 6" into the B-vent. So that's your venting. Remember, 1/4" pitch. Oh, also, you do not have to put the condensate drain off of it. The temperatures of the flue gas have been raised on this system. So the any condensate will evaporate. Plus, with a chimney, it's a little bit different than the actual RL style units. Okay? So, remember, 6" minimum into a chimney. If it's in the chimney, make sure it's flush with the liner, not shoved all the way in and not back. If you're going into B-vent, if you could take the T off and put a Y, you can buy one, because you don't want to make a small Y. This is if you're cutting into a piece of pipe or you're going to be putting it in the box chimney. A Y is better than a T. All right, YouTube? All right, my email is below. If you have a question or if you want a Rinnai Guy sticker, just send me your contact info and I'll send you a sticker without all this sweat. Okay? All right, YouTube, you all be safe out there and you all enjoy your endless hot water. I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye now.